The demon wasn't evil, she was angry. Once, in a land far away, there was a village hidden between tall, whispering mountains. The people there lived simple lives, growing crops and raising animals. But high above them, on the darkest peak of the tallest mountain, lived a creature they all feared. A demon. The villagers called her Malvora, the shadow of the mountain. Every night, they locked their doors, telling their children, "Do not go outside when the sun sets, or Malvora will take you away." Stories said she had claws like knives, eyes like burning coals, and a voice that could shake the earth. The villagers believed she was pure evil, feeding on fear and stealing anyone who dared to wander at night. But the truth was very different. Malvora was not evil. She was angry. Long ago, before the village existed, Malvora had been a guardian, a spirit of the mountain, sworn to protect the land. She watched over the rivers, the forests, and the creatures that lived there. The mountain was her home, and she loved it deeply. Then the first villagers arrived. At first, they were few, and they respected the land. But as their numbers grew, they cut down trees, poisoned the rivers, and hunted the animals without care. Malvora warned them, whispering in the wind, shaking the ground beneath their feet. But they did not listen. One day, the villagers dug deep into the mountain, searching for gold. They broke open the heart of the earth, and in their greed they woke something terrible, a sleeping fire spirit, trapped beneath the stone. The spirit raged, and the mountain shook. Rivers of fire poured down the slopes, swallowing trees and homes. Malvora fought the fire spirit, pushing it back into the earth, sealing it away with all her strength. But the battle changed her. The flames twisted her form, turning her into something monstrous. When the villagers saw her, they screamed. They did not see the guardian who had saved them. They saw a demon. They drove her away with torches and sharpened spears. They cursed her name. And so, Malvora fled to the highest peak, where she sat alone, watching as the village grew, as the people forgot what they had done. Years passed. The villagers told stories of the evil demon on the mountain. But no one remembered the truth. Then, one autumn evening, a little girl named Liora climbed the mountain. She was not afraid of stories. She had heard the whispers in the wind, felt the trembles in the earth, and she wondered, why was the demon so angry? Her family warned her not to go. But Liora was brave. She packed bread and honey in a small bag, wrapped herself in a warm cloak, and walked up the winding path. The higher she climbed, the colder the air became. The trees grew thin, their branches curling like old fingers. At last she reached the peak. There, sitting on a jagged rock, was Malvora. The demon was not as the stories described. Her claws were long, yes, but her eyes, they weren't full of fire. They were full of sadness. "Who are you?" Malvora growled. Liora did not run. "I am Liora," she said, "and I brought you bread." Malvora stared. No one had ever brought her food before. No one had ever come close. "Why?" the demon asked. Liora sat on a nearby stone. "Because I think you're lonely." Malvora turned away. "Your people fear me. They call me evil." "Are you evil?" Liora asked. The demon was silent for a long time. Then, in a voice like rustling leaves, she told Liora everything about the mountain, fire spirit, the greed of the villagers. She spoke of her anger, her loneliness, her sorrow. Liora listened. And when the story was done, she said, "I will tell them the truth." Malvora shook her head. "They will not believe you. Then I will keep telling them," Liora said firmly. And she did. At first the villagers laughed. They said she had been tricked by the demon's magic. But Liora did not give up. She spoke to every person who would listen. She told them about the fire spirit, about the mountain's pain. Slowly, Some began to remember old tales of a guardian, of a great fire long ago. One day the village elder, a wise woman named Hester, climbed the mountain with Liora. She stood before Malvora and bowed. "We have wronged you," she said. "The mountain has suffered because of us." Malvora did not speak, but her eyes softened. That winter, the villagers changed. They planted new trees. They cleaned the rivers. They hunted only what they needed. And every full moon, they left offerings at the foot of the mountain, honey, bread, and flowers. Malvora never returned to the village. But sometimes, on clear nights, the villagers would see a shadow moving across the mountain, swift and silent. And they knew she was watching over them again. The demon was never evil. She was angry. And sometimes, anger is just love, wounded and waiting to heal. The end.